Hello all. In this video I will show the damage aftermath report in more detail than I did during my model LEGO Destruction Derby racing event that took place in April 2024, just a few weeks ago. I will assess the damage in more detail to see how the structure and all the intricate details I built in has deformed due to the collision damages. The weight proportions of the vehicles are that of the real life vehicles, so it makes it more realistic in terms of weight force collision impacts. My weight scale synchronization system I built and designed for my LEGO models are explained in more detail during my LEGO vehicle build videos. The dimensional scale I use is 1 in 30. I also use and build lots of details such as structural components, engines, transmissions, driveline components, interior and various other details. It could take me hours and hours over weeks sometimes to build certain models. I will mainly show the damage report on my LEGO double-decker coach, as it was not raced again after the first banger race heat against my LEGO 8-wheeler large hook-arm skip truck. The first heat was my skip truck versus my double-decker coach. The skip truck won, and went on to doing another 2 heats against the other LEGO models afterwards. Patchwork repairs were done between the heats. I will show the skip truck damage report as well, but bear in mind it has been in 3 heats in total and had patch repair works between each heat. The coach hasn't, and is still in the condition it was in after the first heat against the skip truck, the large hook-arm 8-wheeler skip truck. An approximation, the coach weighs about 18.5 tonnes and the skip truck weighs the equivalent of the 15.5 tonnes. That's explained in the weight scale synchronization. You can see the full races of the LEGO vehicles using the links in the description. You can also see the construction of these being built using the other links in the description. I will be doing more of these LEGO banger racing events in the future, so keep a check on my channel if you're wanting to see them. Right, okay, here's the actual coach and its current status and its distressed status, because it's obviously been in 1 heat. It was in a destruction derby against this 8-wheeler large hook-arm skip truck LEGO model that I built. So I was having a battle with that one. As you'll see in the videos, if you go to the link in the description, you'll see the actual battle. It's the first heat, and you get one view, camera view 1, then you'll get camera view 2 of the same battle, as well as all the other ones as well, if you want to watch the whole lot. But the first race is skip truck versus double deck coach. And as you would have known, there was a link in the description to show you the actual build when I built these. I go into all the details of the weight and all the rest of it, dimensions and all the stuff that I built in. So, on with the damage report. But before I do this, just a quick overlay. I've got lots of models. I've got lots upstairs as well. I've got models over there. I've got models there. I've got models up here, all built by me, of course. Got models up there. Every LEGO model was built and designed by myself. I build and design my own models. I use the pick-a-bricks, and I've got probably about another 50 or 60 up the stair on the display cabinet. But that's beside the point. This video is mainly just focusing in on the damage report. I do have a LEGO project series earlier on in my channel if you want to go and search into it. Go into a lot of detail regarding all the other models. So yeah, well, I've seen the battle. This is more in depth. When I done the actual heats, I done a brief damage report when I because I had all the other heats to go through. But this is solely now concentrating on the damage report on this. So the upper deck structure pillars, that's what's caused it the roof to collapse in due to impact damage. The lower deck pillars have all collapsed in, causing the interdeck, which is this the collapse. Now, as you know, I use coins for ballast to set the ballast weight for the weight synchronization scale that I use. What I do is I make ballast tanks within the interdecking, which dummy up or double up as the actual design. So the wheelbase, for example, on the real life model, the engine's at the rear, the floor's down here, this is more structure, there's not a lot of components in there. So I utilise that space, that design space. It still looks more like the part, but I put a ballast tank in there. I call that bit the underbelly, because I put the coins in there set like 5 pences to synchronise the weight. So it's out of sight and out of mind. It doesn't affect the design of the look. So I've got to design that in there, and because this is a heavy model, 18.5 tonne, I've had to use the luggage compartment as ballast tanks as well, and the interdecking. So that means there's like an inner panels, inner sort of skinny panels there, and panels within there that store the coins as well, and they double up as the roof, interior panels, and the floor and the upper deck. So all that's been burst open. So I'm going to turn the model around. The tanks are burst open, but it's severely damaged. As you can see, that's the remnants of some of the coins that were in there. Now, if you watch the video, where if you look in the link in the description, you'll see this being constructed. You'll know exactly what I mean, and where everything went, and how I put everything together, and explain when I'm doing it, if you want to see that. But this is the, as I say, this is the aftermath. The skip truck won and done 2 other heats, and that was parts repair between heats. I'll show you more than that later, but this is primarily on this. Now, it's structurally unstable because it's just ready to all collapse. The chassis isn't too bad, really damaged. This is going to be getting parts repaired anyway and put back out to more destruction derbies. So because I'm keeping hold of this one, it took me hours to build it, so I'm going to get a few meetings out of it, so to speak. Upper deck seats, there's a couple of them missing. All the driver instrument panels all been smashed, and all dashboard assemblies all been ripped out. The seat and steering wheel's all gone. I just threw that in. That's the rear bonnet. I just chucked that in there when I was taking all the models down, because I've got taking them downstairs and storing them here, because I've got a model makeshift stock car racing arena circuit up the stair that I just assemble up. It's got a floodlight and everything. That's where I carry out these events. So so you can see all the luggage compartments all buckled and bent. That doubles up as shelves, but there's actually ballast tank in there as well. Air conditioning representatives are also tucked within there too. And because I build a lot of detail in there, I build the actual units and components in there. Engines, gearbox, transmissions, etc. Suspension components. I build all that in, the representatives in. Got a staircase, toilet representative as well. Not too badly damaged. The staircase is probably fairly intact, but it will be split obviously, because the whole upper deck and our deck's been broken away from the lower section. Now it looks worse than it is, because a lot of the intricate components come off are still intact. It's just they come off more in lumps. Like the whole bottom half, a lot of details in there, which is still in there. It's just that it looks worse because the pillars of obviously part of the company making the whole unit assemblies come apart, but they're still intact mainly, which is, it looks worse than it is, because I could just put the pillars back in and it'll look like it's all hollow. It'll look like a coach again. Well, healthier. I patch it up. I don't get it exactly what it was, obviously, because it's past that stage. They all are after a heat or two in the bangers. I mean, the single deckers over there, they're all damaged. And what they should look like, obviously, you know, these are untouched, top shelf quality models. And these aren't being raced, they'll never get raced for a long time. These are top shelf quality ones there. They're when they retire, when it's time to build a new model, instead of just taking them apart by hand. Some of them are 10 plus years old. I think the oldest one I've got is 15-year-old, maybe more. 16-year-old, my 17-year-old, I think. But anyway, besides that, instead of taking them apart by hand, I do the destruction derbies, because I did the stock car buying racing myself. I really enjoy watching it. I've even had a shot. So on with the damage report. I'm going to turn it on and show you the back. So like I say, if you want to see the battle, just go to the link in the description. I'll take you to the video where you can see the battle between these two, as well as all the other races. You'll get them in two views, camera 1 and camera 2 in series. And then if you want to watch the rest, then feel free, because that does contain the next 3 actually each. Another 2, sorry. Because I've done some other formulas as well, then I had a mixed formula at the end. So just, I don't know about that one, looks a bit. Anyway, the engine representatives and that's all tucked in there. Each of them is represents a litre in the cylinders. It's a lot of 6-cylinder. I use these cylinders double up as a litre in cubic capacity for the engine. So it's a 12-litre engine. So there's 12 of them, 12 cubic capacities. 12. These one of them represents 1 litre of cubic engine capacity. So there's 12 of them, which gives the overall engine capacity of a 12 litre. Although it's going to be based on a 6-cylinder engine, 6-cylinder in line. I just double them up as that, and these represent the litres in size, in cc, cubic inches, cubic capacity rather. Transmission's tucked further in there. I'll show all that later. And I think I've showed you this side. So I'm going to just lift the units apart because I'm going to be getting them fixed at a later point, but just not at this stage. It's just a damage assessment report, so I can see how damaged it is and how it's been deformed. And what I could do for maybe how I build them in the future. Just lifted the roof off, the upper deck roof. You see all the components, the lights and air vents and all the air conditioning and interior light representatives are fairly intact, but in the TV information representative is fairly intact because when there is a bit of damage, but when the pillars part company, the whole thing just comes off as a unit, which kind of protects it afterwards. Which can go back on quite well, but it's not severely damaged in its unit. The upper deck, a couple of seats missing, probably some of them are maybe with slats, a little bit warped floor's a wee bit warped there, which could be put right due to this problem. That destination blind is just hanging on with a thread, so to speak. I suppose the next thing I really need to do now is just to remove, because when it comes to patching this up to repair it, I'm going to have to remove these units anyway in order to put the pillars back into them. So I'm just beginning to think about that now. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to have to, because the interdeck flooring, the interdeck roofing on the lower deck roof, the interdeck, that's between that upper deck floor and the lower deck roof. There's the interdecking where the ballast coins go, and there's several of them. I know that the first 2 have been ruptured, so I might just have to lift this whole bit off just to see the extent of damage. I'm going to be able to go in there anyway to repair it at some point. I shall do that now. So I have actually done that. I've removed the upper deck flooring. You can see where the ballast tank is there. That doubles up as luggage compartment. Staircase toilet representative. I'll show you more of that in detail. That's the drink refreshment bit representative. Driver cab area is all missing, seats all missing, the instrument panel. In fact, the whole dashboard is over here. It came off in the seat was amongst the debris. I put all the debris in that container there after each of the heats, and use it to patch them back up between heats. So amongst that will be the see, I could probably just make a new one anyway, temporarily patch it up. Doesn't have to be exact how it used to be, but just enough to get it back out again. But yeah, the some coins fell out there. In fact, all the ballast tanks in the upper deck have been gone. I'll move it a little bit closer, so I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute. So you see what I mean with the ballast tank. That's the lower deck roof representative. Air conditioning, light component, air vents and individual lights and vents, etc. And between that and the upper deck roof is structural beams that go across. That space is used to fill up with coins to synchronise the weight. And that would have basically just fits in like such. It's not easy to film and do at the same time, but goes together like that. As you've seen in the actual build model, as part of the company, coins came out, and due to the impact. This has burst into it really. And as I said earlier, the other side of that is the upper deck roof. That's the staircase assembly, staircase area. Right, so the chassis now. The lower floor pan and chassis component, which houses all the driveline, some of the seats a wee bit slack. I'm not repaired anything at this stage and just doing a fuel damage report. All the pillars are missing obviously, that's why the thing was kind of collapsed in. So, all the damage on the lower panelling, bits missing. Headlight assembly's all missing there as well. But I could just feel that all the structural bits underneath are in fact quite strong. That's toilet representative. That's staircase representative. It is obviously split because the upper deck floor is off. That's the ballast tank stroke luggage compartment assembly. It's a bit damaged, but the coins were in there to synchronise the weight. I used 2 pences in there because there is more space. Where there isn't as much space, I use 1 pences. 1 pences, and if there's even less space, I use 5 pences. Seat brackets, I build all that model in here. Seats, representative, seat brackets under there, they're all in exactly the same manner. Position, we've got seat runner rails that go on the other side. Single seats. It was 82 capacity seater coach. Information TV, like digital display representative there, that's still intact. The courier seat for the crew member, you've got the driver's seat, then you've got the courier or the assistant crew member seat, that's gone. And as I say, if you want to see all that happening in the action, just click on the link in the video description and you'll see it. So I'm going to I've showed you the interdeck and I've assessed that. As I say, the units in themselves, these assemblies aren't that bad, it's just the pillars between them that made it all collapse, but a lot of components are under there. So engine, gearbox, transmission, suspension components, air tanks, all auxiliary components, fuel tanks, batteries, power steering representative, cooling fan representative, cooler radiators, intercoolers, all that's still in that bottom bit, but it's all that crucial bits, and there's a ballast tank as well, which isn't damaged. But the pillars between that and the interdeck is all collapsed in, caved in, making the whole bus, the whole coach look worse than it was. So it'll all be getting fixed, and inevitably due to the impacts in the destruction derbies that I do, there is damage to Lego. The actual Lego itself does get damaged on occasions, and you can see there's a bit broken off. So the impact's going hard. It's nearly 2 kilograms up. It's 117 grams equals a metric ton, and these are to represent an 18.5 ton double decker coach. The lorry is a 15.5 ton. So you just times that, 15.5 times 117 grams, and in the bus's case it's 18.2, I think it was, times 117 grams. So it's over 2 kilograms of mass, which is the synchronisation weight proportionally to all the other models that took place, like the vans, couple ton, single deckers are about 10 tons. So 10 times 117 grams is the actual model weight. So the impacts were proportionally the same as what it would be in real life. All explained in previous videos. Anyway, I'm going to turn this upside down to have a look at the actual driveline and chassis components underneath. Because of the condition it is, if it was fully complete, I could go on this roof and no bother and turn it upside down. But because it's in this state, I've added these blocks so I know that A, they don't get mixed up with the other parts, and B, when I turn it upside down, it spreads the load, so it's kind of like not going to be all resting on that part, it'll be like that, you see. And I've also capped off the coins temporarily with this. So these stands are there just to, as you'll see when I turn it upside down, it just stops it from sagging in the centre because there isn't anything there, structure, to hold it together. If it was all built, I'd be able to do it, no bother, but these have been added there temporarily, so I can turn it upside down to assess the underside. Turn it upside down, just to have a look at the seal of so the tank doesn't burst. I'll have to line the coins up at a later date when I come to repairing it. There's covers, there's like engine covers, and well, the engine covers, some of them are there. There's covers to cover up components. If you want to see in there, you just look on the videos during the build. They seem to have held in okay. The intercooler stuff and the stuff tucked into the front overhang. It's fairly solid, that's alright. Oh, and the coins had fallen out. It's just rolling out, never mind, it's only just temporarily. The engine components, the driveline, prop shaft, all that's still in the axle oil cooler still in there. That's still okay. That's sealed off. There's some covers. Oh, that's the actual representatives. That's a cover, like a lower skid pan cover. The sump and engine, the transmission interfaces under there. Air tanks and stuff, components that are buried under there. The exhaust representative still on, but the exhaust has been knocked off. The radiator cooling, I think some of that's missing. The air induction representative is the one, the inward one is in there. I think there's something silly is missing. Let's say that's the underbelly or lower mid wheelbase ballast tank. The coins are in there, and the structurals. Obviously, the whole chassis legs run right the length of the whole vehicle, and there is cross members as well. But in this, the chassis still goes through there, but there is spaces allowing room for the coins to go into. The energy edges, the runners go right along. The chassis leg runners go right along, and there's a gap between there and the sidewall. Some coins are in there as well, and the bits between there's coins in there. You'll see a lot in the construction video. Fuel tank representative still there. The battery representatives and other auxiliaries are under these covers. They've not been damaged. I don't need to upset them, but there's about complex components in there. You want to see them? Watch on the video, the construction video. The trailer axle, the rear wheel steer representative axle is okay. It's just like that of the front axle. It's a lower, lowers. That allows the prop shaft to come from the transmission to the actual drive axle, which has got the differential gearbox representative in it. Airbag suspension representatives that are still there. There's some covers that cover up other components. They've held out okay, but there are other components that have balled under there. So I'll turn it around. So looking at the actual straightness of the chassis, it doesn't seem to be warped or anything. The lower component is okay. It's not bad. It's held out okay. That's vent representatives. Behind there would have been an induction, maybe an air intake, but some of it's been broken off to reveal the bits further in that's protected these covers. Skid pan covers was held up in the impacts. That seems to be not too bad actually. It's held out okay, the lower component, suspension and axles, rear axle, front axle. Yeah, it's not bad. So that'll go back together again quite well. It's held up quite well. Solid bit being of course the ballast tanks and the runners, the chassis leg runners will go right along. You'll see all that being built in the video if you want to see it, in the link in the description. So I've right sided it up again. Yeah, that'll be fixed up and it'll look like a coach again. Certainly won't look 100% like how it used to do, but it will be patched up and put back up. And it'll still maintain a lot of its mass, which is important. Once the bits are damaged and like seats missing and stuff like that, I don't really get the weight back up by compensating by using extra coins. I just sort of like allow a wee bit of weight loss, because that's what it would be like in real life. If the seat's missing, there'll be a wee bit of weight loss. So the ballast will just remain the same, and if there's enough ballast tanks, if ballast goes missing, then it goes missing. The weight will be reduced. I may add a bit on, I may add a bit off, but it won't be much. I mean, 18.5 tonne would probably still represent quite a sizable weight. Maybe like, I don't know, 18 instead of 18.5, or maybe 17.8 instead of 18.5. There will be some bits missing. Depends, I mean, we'll just see how it goes. We'll either weigh them, but the weight calibration, once it's built, it's certified and logged in onto the register that I build it on, because I have a register for all my models. And the weight is logged in. That's the actual weight, the build weight. And be more or less, I don't need to get it to exactly like that again. Once any of my models have been in a destruction derby, they never go back into being a shelf model again, with the exceptions of only two, which There's only two. It wasn't that badly damaged, but I did put a single decker back in, having completely checked it over and repaired it as best as I can to what its original condition was. Because if it's representing a model, it represents my models. If I show them to people, it's got to show a good quality. And if I put them in a destruction derby and there's bits missing and I was synced with the rest, it shows that I don't build it too well. So I tend to build a model, have it lasting for a long time, like that one there. I built that in 2013. It's 11-year-old, that truck. That's not been in any racing because it's maintained, it's looked after. But when I'm finished with it, instead of just taking it apart by hand, boringly, I put them in a destruction derby. So 99.9% of the once they're in the destruction derbies, they never come back. But I did for a couple as an experiment, just to see if I could do it. And I rechecked it, looked back on photos and the logs when I built them, and it seems to resemble about 99% of what it was like before, because I'd done a good job. But I was never severely damaged. I was actually just by chance. I had a big destruction derby and it kind of fared up rather well. So you know what, I'm going to put it back in, it being a mid-shelf. I wasn't a top shelf. They would never do that with a top shelf quality model. Oh, you likes of those. Those are the ones I spend a lot of time on building. But mid-shelf, that's top shelf by the way. But a mid-shelf, for example, these are top shelf. That's single deck. There's some mid-shelves that are top shelf, mid-shelf car. Like some of them are a bit less on the quality, so they could get away with it with a mid-shelf. But I definitely wouldn't do it with a top shelf. Not yet anyway. Don't think I ever could, because I build them with a lot of precision. When to be a top shelf, it has to be really good quality builds. Everything's got to be overlapping and solid. With the mid-shelf, as I've explained in the videos before, it doesn't need to be like that. All these were built to mid-shelf quality, by the way. Some racing that I've done over the years, I've used ex top shelf models, I've used ex mid-shelf models, and I've purposely built models for them as well, like some of those, purposely built for the destruction derbies. And then I build some models up to the quality of a mid-shelf, but they may not have like wing mirrors and stuff, just for the destruction derby, but they have a lot of other details. And some of them are built without, like this was built as a mid-shelf quality, and it had all the detail, and so did the truck. And the single deckers are near enough fit. I didn't build seats on some of them singles, but these were fully dressed, fully built, and they were put in a destruction derby. Took hours to build. Had a few months of enjoyment with them, you know, just seeing them as a model for a wee while, seeing it built, ages building it, and then I destroyed them. But this will go back out for another few buyer meetings. I think that pretty much concludes it. Just put it back together just like that in its stricken state, just temporarily till I get time to repair it. So I'll just put the bits sort of like back together, just stored with it for now. Like that's the engine cover that goes at the back, but there's bits missing. There's a whole bit that goes along there with a few engine under tray covers that are all gone. So in the interim I just store it in the bus for now until I get around to getting it repaired. I'll show you the truck actually. I haven't forgot about that. I was going to show you the truck, but just before I do, I will put these components. There's a few bit of spillers. In fact, the whole interdeck, there's a lot more one pences than that. There's a lot missing, so but the few that are there I could just temporarily store just in the platform. Keep some of the bits together. That's kind of what they do in real life with the bangers. They throw the old bits back into the vehicle as a temporary measure to get out fixing them again. So it's not, yeah, there we go. We'll just put them in like that. This is part of the destination plane that I could probably just go in there for now. There's another bit that came out with it, so I'll just chuck that in there. And then I'll just store that out of the way for now. But that's the damage report for the coach done. I'll have a look at this truck and show you that in a minute. So with the coach out of the way for now, the truck. So I did patch it up after some of the heats. Like some of them came off, put them back on again. The cab suffered the most. That was the most vulnerable bit. This too, if you look in the links in the description, you'll see this being constructed. Obviously you'll see this battling against the coach if you watch the destruction derby video. Some of the suspension components knocked out. This done, the first heat was with against the coach. This one then continued on to do another 2 heats in the Pro Stocks. another heat with all comers pro stocks against all those. They were all battling against each other, including this. I kept the coach out of it. I just kept it to do the one heat. Now, as I say, between the heats it was just patched up. And at the last race for that event that I'd done, it was just like there was a mixed, all bangers and pro stocks were all in the track. We're all in the arena, my makeshift arena, together to participate in a big destruction derby. And the survivors, well, some of them were completely destroyed, some are like really severely damaged. The single deckers, like I say, the lower chassis components on them are pretty much intact. The roof components, some of the roof's snapped off. But like that of the coach, all the intricate details in the lower bit of the chassis, it's more or less still there. It's just a case of the pillars make it look worse than what it is. Single decker, so that's a single decker bus, which would be the height of that one there, just tucked in there. That's what it would look kind of like that, yeah. But that was, so this did do this done 3 heats altogether, so it's had patchwork done. But the main engine and transmission and that's still in there. It was a cab that suffered the worst. There was the large hook arm skip ram for the lifting crane. That's all come off. This is all just patchwork repairs, temporary work to get it all. So the superstructure mainframe has took a bit of a beating as well. That's solid. Because I say it done 3 heats. You could still see the damage report of this. You'll see what this looked like after it done battle against that in the first heat, because on that event I did go round them both. I went round that one and I went round this one, and you'll see what this looked like after it had battle with that. If you look on the link in the description, go to that video with the destruction gallery. If you watch it, you'll see the damage report after each heat. So as I say, the first heat was these two, so you get the damage report. I didn't go at the damage report to the same degree as I am now, but you will see what they looked like after they'd done battle. If you're interested, have a look. Now the skip truck, the roll-on roll-off skip in real life, the ram comes up and the skip rolls off the lorry chassis. There's little wheels on the bottom of the skip that allow it to do that, and there's runners that go along the chassis. But in the Lego, because it's based on mid-shelf quality, it doesn't need to be functional. If it was top shelf like that, tipper body lifts up and there's a stay in the ram and everything, it performs to represent it a lot more. It represents it a lot more than what it would do if it was a mid-shelf. It represents the lorry that it's supposed to more with a top shelf quality model. All the bits do more functions. Whereas a mid-shelf, it doesn't need to do quite as much, it just has to look the part. But they all, importantly, all weigh the same. They all share the same weight synchronization and the same dimensions as well, 1 and 30. So the engine bit there, you see a wee bit just tucked in the rocker cover and cylinder head, that's tucked in there. They've got a transmission that's under there, it runs through there. There's a prop shaft that goes right underneath with the battery representatives there. The cap fell off, but it's already knackered. Battery, air tanks, other representatives, there's exhaust representative there, yellow bit, suspension components. It's a double drive rear axle, it's 8x4 tipper, the rear wheels transmit torque are driven by the engine. The two front steering axles they're non-driven, but they're 2 front steering axles. That's the turbo representative. Again, cylinders, 12 litre engine based on 12 litre engine, so 12 of these cylinders. Although it's going to be a 6-cylinder inline engine, just by its shape, but I use these cylinders. They double up and represent other components as well, like a bit of a turbocharger, that could represent a starter motor just in its shape. The cab, as I say, took a beating, but this has been patched up. It's not even fixed on right. It needs to be repaired before it goes out again. The wiper representatives are all gone. Like that, for example, is a top shelf quality box truck, rigid. That's wiper representatives, wing mirror representatives on the edges there. It's got the lights. The cab tilts as well on these models. That weighs 8.5 tonne, that one. That represents an 8.5 tonne truck. It's a rigid box truck, rigid. but not moving all them in the snow. Oh, there's a flatbed lorry as well, Arctic. The wheels are missing, that's a mid-shelf quality. That truck there's top shelf quality. So that's a quick damage report. I think that heat exchanger representative is still intact. Yeah, I don't think that came off. Or did I have to patch it up? I can't remember. Look back at the video. Front one's gone. The rear one's a bit. Stop doing that. Now the main bulk of the weight, because Lego doesn't make enough weight in its density, I use, as you know, coins for the ballast. Now I've doubled up the skip. All this here is just full of coins. That's the ballast. So it still looks like a skip truck from, you know, visually. You could sort of like maybe think that is a skip truck cover, keep the dust in a way, you know, it rolls over, but it hides the coins as well, you see. So that gives it a good heavy solid weight. 15.5 tonne, 15.5917 grams. It's not far off 2 kilograms. So that's pretty much it. Did I show you the other side? The cab's just going to fall off. The cab collapses on it because there's nothing, you know, gone. In real life that's probably what it'd be like as well, because the cab on a lorry isn't, it's just pressed steel panels, pressed steel cab. Lorries have a pressed steel, thin metal, like that of a car. Whereas the rest of it, the chassis underframes are similar to each other on a bus and a coach. Buses use aluminium panels and aluminium structures, frame structure for lightness and strength. Big skip bit on the back is super hardened steel, solid. You know how much punishment a skip's got to take. So it's solid. And all the chassis bit and all the components in the ram crane, and the crane that lifts it, that's all solid steel. That just makes this whole thing quite solid. I built it to represent a solid material. And the chassis, again, it's all compacted as well. The weight's all compacted. Oh, that bit just fell off. That's the mudguard representative. It's so slack. The rear reversing spotlights have been pushed right in as well. That's just minor repairs. Although let's say it done 3 heats, so you can see the prop shaft where it meets the differential above on the rear axle there. Zoom in a bit for you. As I say, these things double up as airbags, suspension components as well as engine compartments. I use these cylinders, these Lego cylinders, to represent various components. Can't remember how the bracket went on this. I'd have to. I think the original bracket, I just part of the company. It's just part of the company. It's just folded bits right now. Because I mean, it is done battle. So as usual, I'll just chuck them in there for now, and I'll come get on to repairing it at a later date. So they will be patched up. I might build some fresh new bangers, I don't know. I might just patch them up. These were all built brand new, these bangers, for the event, for this one. There wasn't any ex model shells in there. Although they had a lifespan, they were models for about 5 or 6 months. 5 months. I'll tell you in the video when I build it. I kept them for a few months anyway, then they were destined for the demolition derby. These again, maybe a few months out of them, built specifically for that. The rest are built for indefinite, don't know how long. When it's time to rebuild something and needing to reuse the Lego, I just put them in the destruction derby, get a few meetings out of them, and then bang race them, have a complete destruction derby where it's totally destroyed. That flatbed lorry, rigid, in the back there is a mid-shelf quality. The articulated tipper is a top shelf quality. As I say, the bits function, they open up, the tipping body does tip. The cab tilts, but again, I've done other videos regarding these. I'm not going to spend much time at the moment with that because I have done a video on them. If you look on the Lego project series on the channel, you'll be able to see a lot more detail. This is probably one of the oldest cars that I've built. I think that was 2012, I think I built that one. So I introduced that new, the 1 in 30 scale, because I had a scale prior to that, before 2012. So 2012, 2013 is probably the oldest in the scale. But some of the biggest cars, like that one there for example, was a big car in its old scale. Because it was so big, like a big Jaguar it represented a big Jaguar. It was big enough to reach into this next scale of 1 in 30. It's now a very small car. But the weight and the dimensions would pass for a car. So that's the oldest one, I think. I think it was 2009. Because bear in mind, I didn't have anything like as much Lego back then as I do now. So the models were more crude, not so well. They were good for their time, but I could build more details into them now because I've got more Lego and more experience. Well, I've got so much experience. I've built Lego for decades, of the 90s, the early 2000s, but I came up with a scale when I had enough Lego to build a weight scale and a size scale of 1 in 30, including a weight scale. Right, so I'm going to round it off now. That's pretty much it. We get a few pictures, still photos, and then put that on the photo slide at the end of this video as usual. And just, that will do. Hope you found it interesting. Look out for more videos. I put everything, and I put up anything really miscellaneous things on my channel, including Lego. So if you're interested in watching more Lego stuff, just keep a check on the channel. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.